Jacob is a touching example of how love and care can transform an animal's life, even in the most challenging circumstances. His journey began on a hot and sweltering summer day when he was spotted wandering aimlessly in front of a busy market. Jacob was not just another abandoned dog. He was a survivor fighting to stay alive amidst a scenario of complete despair. Picture the scene. Passers-by hurried past, each minding their own concerns, while Jacob, with his small, battered body, desperately tried to get the attention of anyone who could offer him some water or food. His look begged for help, but most people seemed indifferent to his suffering. The feeling of abandonment was palpable, and every second that passed became a struggle to survive in the scorching heat. As I approached him, I realized that Jacob was in a terrible state. Not only was he starving and dehydrated, but he was also suffering from serious injuries. I discovered to my horror that someone heartless had beaten this little dog, leaving his front legs so damaged that they could barely support him. He limped towards me, his eyes full of fear and pain, and in that moment, I knew I couldn't leave him behind. Jacob needed urgent medical attention, but he was so traumatized that it would take almost an hour to gain his trust enough to get him to safety. Little by little, with soft words and kind gestures, I managed to make him trust me. Finally, he allowed me to put him in a cage, and together we went to the vet, where his fight for life would continue. At the office, the veterinarians were shocked to see Jacob's condition. His paws were swollen, with exposed bones and a severe infection that emanated a horrible odor. The fracture and dislocation were so severe that there was a real risk he could lose one of his legs. No one knew for sure how long Jacob had been suffering, but it was clear that he had endured unimaginable pain for days, perhaps even weeks. Jacob was hospitalized immediately. With each day he spent in the hospital, his slow but steady recovery began to take shape. After 5 days of intensive care, the swelling in his paws began to subside, the infection was being controlled, and the possibility of saving his leg seemed more real. Jacob, the little warrior, was finally on a path to recovery. On the 20th day, Jacob had completely transformed. He was no longer the scared and injured puppy that was rescued from the streets. Instead, he was now a happy, healthy, lively dog, eager to start a new chapter. His wound was almost completely healed, and his energy and spirit had been restored. Tomorrow, Jacob will make his final journey to find his forever home, where he will be welcomed by a loving family who are eager to give him all the love and care he deserves. It's hard to believe that the same dog that once roamed the streets looking for help now lives a life full of love and security. His new family shared that Jacob has already adapted perfectly to his new home. He loves his meals, but now he's a picky pup who expects breakfast and dinner to be served on time. His favorite place is in the dog room, where he feels safe and comfortable, but he always knows when his roast chicken is being cooked and goes to his foster mom to remind her that it's time to eat. He gets along well with all the other dogs in the house, but doesn't hesitate to show his displeasure when they are too noisy around him. Today, Jacob is the picture of happiness. He is safe, loved, and full of energy, a true walking miracle. His story is a powerful reminder that, with love and care, even the most wounded beings can find healing and happiness. Jacob is a living testimony that no matter how dark life may seem, there is always hope and the possibility of a happy ending.